Assalamu alaikum everyone, and today we will compare one of the best-selling Chinese SUVs with the conventional American SUV. I will try to answer the biggest question in automotive industry. Are Chinese cars better than American cars? We will compare high-spec cars Chevrolet Equinox RS with the 2-liter turbo mid-hybrid system and BYD Seal U DMI hybrid, also known as Song Champion in some regions. Let's start with the design. The BYD Seal U, the hybrid version, looks much better than the EV version. Hybrid version has this beautiful metallic front lines that covers the engine vents, and the car looks more modern, more realistic than the EV model. EV models look like a huge toy car. The front of the car tries to imitate Porsche Cayenne or any Porsche product. The back of the car doesn't look as the same as the front of the car. It looks like from a different car. They don't have the same concept, but everything is futuristic, not very ugly and not very pleasant to my eye. Just normal car, weird normal vehicle. But nevertheless, this vehicle has already become familiar to my eyes because we make them in Uzbekistan and sell them in Uzbekistan, and a lot of native people buy them and enjoy it. In my home Tashkent, the capital of sunny Uzbekistan. If you want to visit interesting country, Uzbekistan is one of the best choices you can pick because the country is safe, we have low prices on everything. The Equinox looks beautiful and harmonious in any color, even in red, but not in black. In black you cannot see the body lines and all its beauty is lost in the darkness. The car looks as if it has a V8. It's very low, it looks very aggressive, and it really screams that it can take on any German cars. Personally, I prefer the design of Equinox. It's much better, more pleasant for my eyes, and actually in some angles even beautiful. Inside of the car, the situation is completely different. BYD simply tears apart American competitor. It has more functions, quality is much better, the ergonomics is just perfect, the screen is million times bigger, more beautiful, faster, the graphics are just amazing. Camera 360, I don't think there are any better camera 360 right now that BYD has. It can spin, it can do black flips, just everything. It literally spins, and that's just amazing. Also, it has karaoke. If we compare the Equinox interior with the BYD interior, like they are people, the BYD interior is a successful family man who helps with kids, washes the dishes, earns a ton of money. He's very modern. He's a part-time feminist when he's doing his housework, and very brute in bed, and he's in touch with his feelings, and also same time he's part-time psychologist, I don't know, like what else, numerologist, and all that crap. Also sometimes he's a brutal red flag that for some reason women enjoy, and this is the dream of every girl, every wife in the perfect relationship, I assume. The Equinox interior is an elite hobo living under the bridge, like very nicely dressed homeless man who has become useless, and he's useless to both his kids and wife. Even though back in his days he was popular, the coolest guy around, now he's just very outdated, unfortunately. In the Equinox, everything starts to rattle and cracks after 50,000 kilometers. The plastic is hard, loud, and very cheap. Some places it's just horrible. The screen and the audio system both is not bad, they're good, but again, compared to the BYD, it's outdated. The design is beautiful. The material quality is terrible, just horrible. It's going to be 10 years old soon when this interior is made, and no updates, no major updates at least. And they're still selling it without any significant changes. Sound isolation is very weak, and the monitor outdated compared to the BYDs. But personally, I like small monitors. But personally, I like small screens because inside of me lives an old man who actually wants all cars to run on the carburetors. The BYD Seal U has a super interior, it is pleasant, and everything is exactly where it needs to be. It has gone 5 years ahead of its time in the future. If you like everything high-tech, this interior will suit you. It seems to me that the Equinox cabin slightly more spacious, the BYDs, but again, it's only my assumption. I didn't take a rule and measured everything, just I felt like the Equinox was bigger inside. Strangely enough, BYD has a voice control command in Uzbek language, and that's very rare. And everywhere where BYD sells, they try to make it in local language. But Chevrolet does not. They have only Russian or English. That's it. Also, the Equinox has more physical buttons. For many, this will be a pleasant feature. Although in BYD, everything important also, you can find it buttons, and it's not, if it's in the screen, it's not very deep in the screen. So also access for 360 camera in BYD just in one button. That's great. The audio system is a little bit better in Chevrolet than in BYD. Autopilot is less intrusive in Chevrolet and it's more peaceful. It's not very aggressive. In BYD, it's just crazy. The BYD safe system, like all the scanners and monitors, they act like they're on crack. They're always panicky, always hallucinating stuff, and that's horrible. I almost crashed in the car. I was driving it and it stopped out of nowhere because it assumed that two lanes in left of me, the guy started running to the road and it just stopped, and thank God nobody was behind me because it would just crash. The trunk of the BYD is much cooler and has better materials, while in Chevrolet it's just simply bigger, and those by numbers bigger, it's proven bigger. Now let's talk about driving qualities. The Equinox is stiffer and the chassis is much harder than the BYD, but the Equinox holds the road much better than the CLU. In corners, Equinox is active, full of life, is just very happy. I fell in love with this car when I was driving it. It handles amazing, especially the RS version. They have better wheels, better tires, the handling is more sharper. The BYD is also fine, but the car is fatter. It's cannot do what the Equinox can, and you cannot enjoy it. Not a little bit, it's much softer. The Equinox, it changes lanes immediately. It steers wonderfully. The car brings huge smile to my face. I'm generally happy when I drive it. I want to race it all the time. Every time I drive BYD, I realize it cannot do the same things that the Equinox can. The CLU BYD is almost 200 kilograms heavier than the Chevrolet, and you feel those 200 kilograms in every corner, and that's disappointing. Now let's talk about technical stuff. So BYD possesses a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder 16 valves engine/generator and the battery can give you about 150 kilometers of range in the EV mode in maximum trim, and altogether, and if you combine the electric engine and the petrol engine, it produces 218 brake horsepower, but those brake horsepower are not constant. So when the battery goes down or when the engine must charge the battery, you get only like 150, 160, maybe even less. And only when you fully charge everything and you have full petrol tank and everything is nice, acceleration from 0 to 100 will happen in 8.5 seconds if you have a good grip, 9 seconds if you don't. Fuel consumption with the full battery and normal driving about 6-7 liters to 100 kilometers. Equinox has 2-liter turbo engine with microscopic battery that stands there for authentic beauty. It is supposed to help somewhere, somehow at the start of the car when it's just moving from the standstill, but I think they just put it there to just name it mid-hybrid, and actually the hybrid system doesn't do anything. The motor produces almost 240 brake horsepower and 360 newton meters of torque. Fuel consumption is about 9 to 11 liters per 100 kilometers if you drive it normally in eco mode. This car will reach 100 kilometers with the perfect start in 7 seconds. Maintaining both cars is very interesting, so BYD CLU will demand more attention from you, starting with the constant charging of the battery, refueling the tank. You need to service the motor, also you need to service the electric motor drive shaft that actually has all this pressure all the time, and you cannot drive it aggressively all the time because it just will destroy itself. And you need to change fluids inside of it, the oil, the EV motor oil, and yes, it does have oil inside of it and it needs to be changed every 20,000 kilometers at minimum. In the Equinox, you change the oil every 6 to 7,000 kilometers. In the engine, transmission fluid must be changed every 60 to 70,000 kilometers. The transmission in Equinox is the 9-speed GM. It's very nice, it's very reliable, no problems with it yet. In both of the vehicles, you need to pay close attention to the cooling. When you service it, clean the radiators, and also don't forget to change the liquids on time because both of them are very overheated. For me, the BYD CLU is a modern car with different features that aren't actually life critical, and the fuel saving is not this huge, and you don't have this big difference between the Equinox. And if you count the time you spend charging it all the time, I think it doesn't worth it. public opinion about you will be different. If you drive a hybrid EV, people will look at you as a smart person or something like that. And I don't know, like, I don't know why, but people do enjoy driving EV cars just because of the public perception of you, and that's very shitty. Sorry for my language. But I'm a million years old, and I do not care about opinion of any people, especially EV lovers. The Chevrolet Equinox is faster, more interesting, it's more alive, and has no radiation, which I cannot prove that BYD car has the radiation, but every time I drive EV cars, my balls hurt, I feel vomiting, nauseous, I don't feel nice, and all my friends had the same opinion. And BYD themselves do not recommend sitting in the car when you charge it, and when you drive it aggressively, it does give you more radiation, and there's been studies about that. Also, the Equinox is lighter and has very important thing that in the Equinox, I'm happy driving it. I want to enjoy the stiff suspension and excellent handling, and that's a good thing. And also it's four-wheel drive, and that's important. And the BYD CLU is only front-wheel drive. That's it. But the strongest advantage that Equinox has is the second-hand market value. The price of the Equinox on the second-hand market is staying afloat very, very nice. It doesn't go down really hard. But all the Chinese EVs, if you try to sell them in the second-hand market, depreciation will hit you harder than the divorce papers after your wife found that you love somebody else. Those cars lose their price really, really bad. The BYD hybrid is very hard car to sell, and you have to drop the price really bad. So Equinox used to be more expensive than the BYD, but now Chevrolet in Uzbekistan especially, they give very good discounts on them, so it's a little bit cheaper than the BYD. And the BYD in China, it costs much, much less, but in Australia, New Zealand, and other markets, they're about the same. So my personal verdict is that if I had $33,000 and I need an SUV, I would buy a Chevrolet Tahoe 2019 6.2 liter LS motor and just drive it around on the weekends, because even with all the payments I get from YouTube, and that's not a lot, like pennies, I would not have enough money to just put the fuel on it. So just look at it as it stands there. But frankly speaking, I would buy Equinox, white Equinox, because it's just much better. It's for me, it's much better car. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about both cars and which one is the best choice for you, and tell me why. Please subscribe to my channel, share this video, and take care. Bye bye.